There are no amendments at the desk. The clerk will give the bill its third reading.
Third reading, House File number 105.
Third reading. Representative Liebling.
Thank you very much Madam Speaker and members, thank you very much for being willing to take up House File 105 this evening. This is the Human Services Waivers Bill. So if you will recall, under the peacetime emergency, the Department of Human Services has had the authority to waive a bunch of rules that govern how our counties deliver human services. As you know, human services are mainly delivered through counties in Minnesota. And so the counties have changed the way they do their business in many different areas. So the counties have worked very closely with DHS and with providers of services and with consumer advocacy groups, because there is a concern that when the peacetime emergency ends, that suddenly the authority to do business the way they are now will go away. And all in one day, they'll have to return to their previous way of doing business. So one of the very important things this bill does is create a 60-day off-ramp to wind down different ways of doing business that the counties have been practicing during the emergency. But the bill goes further than that. There are other waivers that are in the bill that are nothing that's new, only things that are being done now that are being allowed to continue, because as these new ways of doing business have been rolled out, in many cases, folks have said, gee, this works well. Why haven't we always done it this way? And so the counties and DHS have worked out some requests to us to be able to continue some of these waivers, these ways of doing business differently, through the next legislative session. This will give the legislature an opportunity to examine these changes and see whether these are things that we want to stop and go back to the old way of doing business or continue on in the new way, because things like using telemedicine, telehealth to reach out to clients in some cases is working very, very well. So that is a big section of the bill. There are some waivers in here that are necessary to comply with federal law or to enable the state to receive enhanced federal funding. There are those waivers I just mentioned that are about allowing counties to continue on for a longer period with new ways of doing certain things. And there's a very small fiscal section of the bill which takes the money from the CARES Act, the federal funds, to allow a little flexibility in our housing support program, which is a state-funded program. And again, because of COVID, we need the opportunity to continue to allow people to have their housing even if they are hospitalized for a long period of time. So again, this is the work of many parties. The Senate is waiting for this bill. I believe there's broad agreement. And I think importantly, and this was asked about in Ways and Means, importantly, this is the legislature exercising our prerogative to look at the ways we do business and have a real say over this. So if we really do want to wind down the peacetime emergency, and I know that all of us really do, we need to find this off-ramp to be able to allow our state to do things differently and to figure out what that new normal is going to look like. So that's all I have to say, members. One more thing, you do have a letter from the Association of Minnesota Counties. This is a bill that all of your counties will really appreciate your vote. This really is very important to them and to many others in the state. So I would appreciate your yes vote.
The member from Scott, Representative Albright.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, first off, I'd like to thank the Department of Human Services for their coordination of the work in this bill between both sides of the aisle in the House chamber. I'd also like to thank the DHS for their coordination with the counties. Much of the work that these waivers represent goes to what the work really falls to the counties, and we are in support of those efforts. I would add, as Representative Liebling has said, in times such as we face, sometimes you find out what really is important as well as how you can implement it and deliver it to the people most vulnerable in a more meaningful way. And I think that we have identified a number of cases where going forward we have found better ways of delivering better services to those most vulnerable. Members, with that, I'll keep it short. I know the day will be long, and I would urge members to vote green on this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will take the roll on the bill.
Acom.
Acom, aye.
Acom, aye. Albright. Albright, aye. Anderson.
Anderson, aye.
Anderson, aye. Backer.
Backer, aye.
Backer, aye. Bonner.
Bonner, aye.
Bonner, aye. Barr.
Barr, pass.
Barr, pass. Baker.
Baker, aye.
Baker, aye. Becker, Finn. Becker, Finn, aye. Bennett, excused. Bernardi.
Bernardi, aye.
Bernardi, aye. Bierman.
Bierman, aye.
Bierman, aye. Bow.
Bow, aye.
Bow, aye. Brand.
Brand votes aye.
Brand, aye. Cantrell. Cantrell, aye. Carlson, A.
Carlson, A, aye.
Carlson, A, aye. Carlson, L.
Carlson, L, aye.
Carlson, L, aye. Christensen.
Christensen, aye.
Christensen, aye. Claflin.
Claflin, aye.
Claflin, aye. Considine.
Considine, aye.
Considine, aye. Daniels.
Daniels, aye.
Daniels, aye. Doubt. Doubt, pass. Davids.
David's, aye.
Davids, aye. Davney.
Dabney, aye.
Davney, aye. Dean.
Dean, aye.
Dean, aye. Damath. Damath, aye. Detmer.
Detmer, aye.
Detmer, aye. Drazkowski.
Ruskowski, no.
Drazkowski, no. Eklund.
Eklund, aye.
Eklund, aye. Edelson.
Edelson, aye.
Edelson, aye. Elkins.
Elkins, aye.
Elkins, aye. Erickson.
Erickson, aye.
Erickson, aye. Fabian. Fabian, aye. Fisher.
Fisher, aye.
Fisher, aye. Franzen. Franzen. Freiberg.
Branson votes yes.
Franzen, aye. Freiberg.
Freiberg, aye.
Freiberg, aye. Garofalo. Garofalo, aye. Gomez. Gomez. Green.
Green, aye.
Green, aye. Grossel.
Rossel, aye.
Grossel, aye. Grunhagen.
Gruenhagen, aye.
Grunhagen, aye. Gunther.
Gunther, aye.
Gunther, aye. Haley.
Haley, aye.
Haley, aye. Halverson.
Halverson, aye.
Halverson, aye. Hamilton.
Hamilton, aye.
Hamilton, aye. Hanson.
Hanson, aye.
Hanson, aye. Hassan.
Aye. Hassan, aye.
Hassan, aye. Hausman.
Hausman, aye.
Hausman, aye. Heinrich.
Heinrich, aye.
Heinrich, aye. Heinzman.
Heinzman, aye.
Heinzman, aye. Her.
Her, aye.
Her, aye. Hertos.
Hertos, aye.
Hertos, aye. Hornstein.
Hornstein, aye.
Hornstein, aye. Howard.
Howard, aye.
Howard, aye. Hewitt.
Hewitt, aye.
Hewitt, aye. Johnson. Johnson, aye. Jordan.
Jordan, aye.
Jordan, aye. Jurgens.
Jurgens, aye.
Jurgens, aye. Keel.
Keel, aye.
Keel, aye. Cleavorn.
Cleaborn, aye.
Cleavorn, aye. Cagle.
Cagle, aye.
Cagle, aye. Katiza Watun.
Katiza Watun, aye.
Katiza Watun, aye. Kosnick.
Cosmic pass.
Kosnick, pass. Kreshaw.
Grisha, aye.
Kreshaw, aye. Kunish-Podine. Kunish-Podine, aye. Lehman.
Lehman, aye.
Lehman, aye. Lee. Lee, aye. Lesh.
West, aye.
Lesh, aye. Liebling.
Liebling, aye.
Liebling, aye. Lean.
Lean, aye.
Lean, aye. Lilly.
Lily, aye.
Lilly, aye. Lippert.
Lippert, aye.
Lippert, aye. Listlegard.
Listlegard, aye.
Listlegard, aye. Long. Long, aye. Lucero.
Lucero, no.
Lucero, no. Lewick. Lewick, aye. Mahoney.
Mahoney, aye.
Mahoney, aye. Mann.
Man, aye.
Mann, aye. Mariani.
Mariani, aye.
Mariani, aye. Markwart.
Markwart, aye.
Markwart, aye. Mason.
Mason, aye.
Mason, aye. McDonald. McDonald.
McDonald, no.
McDonald, no. Mecklin.
Mecklin, no.
Mecklin, no. Miller. Miller, aye. Moeller. Moeller, aye. Moran.
Moran, aye.
Moran, aye. Morrison.
Morrison, aye.
Morrison, aye. Munson.
Munson, no.
Munson, no. Murphy.
Murphy, aye.
Murphy, aye. Nash.
Nash, no.
Nash, no. Nelson, M.
Nelson M, aye.
Nelson, M, aye. Nelson, N.
Nelson N, aye.
Nelson, N, aye. New. New, aye. Nor. Nor, aye. Nornis.
Norris, aye.
Nornis, aye. Novotny. Novotny, aye. O'Driscoll.
O'Driscoll, aye.
O'Driscoll, aye. Olson. Olson, aye. O'Neill.
O'Neill, aye.
O'Neill, aye. Pulowski.
Pulowski, aye.
Pulowski, aye. Purcell.
Purcell, aye.
Purcell, aye. Petersburg.
Petersburg, aye.
Petersburg, aye. Pearson.
Pearson, aye.
Pearson, aye. Pinto.
Pinto, aye.
Pinto, aye. Poppy.
Poppy, aye.
Poppy, aye. Poston.
Poston, aye.
Poston, aye. Pryor.
Pryor, aye.
Pryor, aye. Quam.
Quam, aye.
Quam, aye. Richardson.
Richardson, aye.
Richardson, aye. Robbins.
Robbins, aye.
Robbins, aye. Runbeck.
Runbeck, aye.
Runbeck, aye. Sandell.
Sandell, aye.
Sandell, aye. Sandsted.
Sandsted, aye.
Sandsted, aye. Sauk.
Sauk, aye.
Sauk, aye. Schumacher.
Schumacher, aye.
Schumacher, aye. Schultz.
Schultz, aye.
Schultz, aye. Scott. Scott, aye. Stevenson.
Stevenson, aye.
Stevenson, aye. Sundin.
Sundin, aye.
Sundin, aye. Swazinski.
Buzinski, aye.
Swazinski, aye. Tabke.
Tabke, aye.
Tabke, aye. Tice.
Tice, aye.
Tice, aye. Torkelson.
Torkelson, aye.
Torkelson, aye. Erdahl.
Erdahl, aye.
Erdahl, aye. Vang.
Vang, aye.
Vang, aye. Vogel.
Vogel, aye.
Vogel, aye. Wagenius.
Yes, aye.
Wagenius, aye. Wozlowick.
Wozlowick, aye.
Wozlowick, aye. West.
West, aye.
West, aye. Winkler. Winkler, aye. Wolgamott.
Wolgamott, aye.
Wolgamott, aye. Zhang Jie.
Xiong J, aye.
Zhang Jie, aye. Zhang Ti.
Zhang T, aye.
Zhang Ti, aye. Joachim.
Joachim, aye.
Joachim, aye. Speaker Hartman. Speaker Hartman, aye. Barr. Barr.
Barr, no.
Barr, no. Doubt. Doubt, aye. Gomez. Gomez.
Gomez, aye.
Gomez, aye. Kosnick.
Cosmic, aye.
Kosnick, aye. Nash.
To aye. Nash changes from no to aye.
Nash changes from no to aye.
There being 127 ayes and 6 nays, the bill is passed and its title agreed to.